Hello everyone, this is Rick Riddle. I'm going to spend a few minutes going over the requirements for the stock project. So this section right here comes from the syllabus, but basically the copy of the same item is available on module number 1 where it talks about the stock game. So what the stock game is it's a virtual game. It's done on the market website, the Market Watch website, where you have $100,000 to invest in what we call play money that you're going to pick and invest in 4 to 6 different companies, different publicly traded companies, I should say, in different industries, so that your total investment is basically $100,000. You can be a little bit shy of the $100,000, so at least $99,000, but you're only able to invest in publicly traded companies, all right? No exchange traded funds, no composite indexes, no bonds, nothing like that. The start of the game is February 20th of 22, which is the first day of the term. The end of the game is near the end of the term because your project is basically due in week number 11, so it ends a little bit before that time. This is a link to the game. What I seem to be having better luck doing, although it's exactly the same item, is going into the stock game itself on the website and clicking on the link there, which is where basically what I would suggest you do because it just seems to work better. I'm not quite sure why. They are updating the Market Watch website, so I'm hoping that there won't be any issues once that is finished. All right. So actually, I should go back to I went to the wrong item here. Please give me 1 second to go back to the stock game itself. So I'm going to click on the stock game over here, and we have a link right here for the stock game itself. Again, you must invest the full $100,000. You need to complete your investment by Wednesday of the second week. We're going to talk about what the individual requirements are. There's 2 homework assignments related to the stock project and also the project, which is due week number 11 for the term. I can't help you pick in the stocks, and I can't help you with any problems with the Market Watch website. If you have problems with the website, just try to process things again. Try to wait the next day, see if things don't take care of themselves. Sometimes it's just something funny happens. You might have to actually try a different browser, for example. Sometimes people have trouble with the browsers. I can't tell you which browser it works best with or which ones it won't. If it won't work with your phone or anything, I really can't tell you that either. Right? I can't tell you with which stocks you should be purchasing. You should have some kind of rationale why you're purchasing the stocks you're purchasing. Might be a company that you like its products. You might have found the performance to be very, very good of the company's stock so far. Just have some kind of a rationale because you're going to have to indicate that in your final project and also in the homework for week number 6. I apologize. I speak fast. I only have 15 minutes to get this done and also make a lot of mistakes when I'm trying to do this. All right. So let's go back. Let's go to the individual stock site itself. So if I click on the link right here, now I've already signed into the website, so I don't have to do this. You're going to have something. You're going to have to actually join the website itself. Actually, now it's going to tell me that I don't know why I have to join the game, so I'm joining the game. And it's asking me for my user ID again. I'm not sure why. All right, so I'm already joined the game. If you're not part of the game, it's going to ask if you want to join the game. What you're going to see over here is some information. Your net worth. You're going to start with $100,000 worth. And it's going to deduct what you actually make for purchases. Now I have purchases that are pending that I haven't actually made yet because I still have $100,000 worth of cash. My purchases will be made on the next business date. So my buying power is $90,464.97. All right. What I need to do is I need to put in the symbol or the name of a company that I'm interested in purchasing stock in. So I'm going to put in Apple. And it's going to tell me the symbol is Apple. Apple is selling for $167.30 right now. And I'm going to pick Apple. I'm going to pick trade. Remember that you don't want to do anything regarding exchange traded funds, anything like that. Just regular companies, common stock, right? So I'm going to do trade. And what it's telling me is the market price right now is $167.30. It's automatically defaulting for 1 share. So I'm going to drag this little slider over here until I get to 10 shares. Click on 10 shares and go ahead and hit submit order. And I'm going to view my portfolio now. and the cost of those 10 shares have actually been reduced out of my buying power. Now I'm down to 88,791.97. So by the middle of the second week, you need to be down to $1,000 or less over here. You are allowed to make partial share purchases, and these are my purchases that are basically pending right now. The most recent one I did was Apple. You can see I tried to do this video a few times before and had to cancel it, so I'm not able to get rid of those. I could actually cancel those purchases, but I haven't done that. All right, so going over what the Market Watch website is for the course, and again, I suggest you do this with a link. So let's go over what the individual requirements are. The first item that you have to do for the Getting the Market Watch homework is you have to go to module number 2. So if I go into modules here, and your site is going to look a little bit different than mine because I have some items that don't actually show up for you that I'm not actually using in the class, like this introduction discussion post, which we're not going to be using this term. Right? So I'm going to go to homework for week number 2. And one of the 3 components for homework for week number 2, the third component, and the 3 different components for homework for week number 2 are going to be combined and put in one Word or Excel, preferably a Word document. It's going to be dropped into the Dropbox for week number 2. And this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing a chart, basically a table. It's going to have the 4 to 6 different companies that you've invested in. So I added 6 different lines here. You're not going to be actually using this table. You're going to be copying it into a Word document. We're doing a similar table like that. You're going to put in the name of the company, the stock symbol, the number of shares, the price per share, and the amount that you invested in the company, which is basically the number of shares times the price per share. It's going to be the amount invested. Do that for all 4 to 6 companies. And then a sum right over here. You can actually type in what the sum is going to be. If you do Excel and paste that in from Excel, it's going to actually calculate the sum for you. What the total is going to be. It needs to be at least $99,000, no more than $100,000 for week number 2. All right, so that's the first requirement regarding the project, the stock project. So the second requirement is going to be in week number 6. That's when it becomes something important for me to see how you're actually doing with the stock project. So if I go into module number 6 and I go into the homework, and this is all by itself, the only item you submit for week number 6 is your homework regarding to the project, and it's basically going to be 3 requirements. Basically, the first one is a table similar to the one they did in the second week that's going to show what your portfolio consists of right now. And if you've actually sold any shares, you're not required to actually make any share sales. I suggest that you make at least a couple. If you make any sales, you need to basically reinvest the money within a couple days, so you get that down again to $1,000 or less worth of cash. All right, so your table, which is similar to what you did in week number 2 for the homework. Now you're going to also add in a short paragraph for each of the individual stocks that you purchased. Now there can be more than 6, because if you, for example, if you purchased 6 companies and you actually sold one and repurchased and purchased stock in a 7th company, then you're going to have 7 different paragraphs here to explain why you purchased the individual stocks that you did. You need to have some kind of a rationale. Probably something more than I like the name or I threw darts at it, but you know, the dartboard for stock market and picked the 7 stocks that came up or 6 stocks that came up. You know, have a good rationale for it. And again, you want to diversify. You want to be in 4 to 6 different companies in 4 to 6 different industries. So if one industry has a bad day, your whole portfolio shouldn't be suffering quite to the same extent. All right. And finally, the most important part of it, throughout the course of the term, every single week, you're going to be researching. You're going to be researching not just on the Market Watch website, but for the through Google searching. You're going to look at the news. You're going to look at each of the individual 4 to 6 companies' websites and find out what happened to that company that week that affected the stock market's price. So, for example, it might be something that happened external to the company. Like right now, a lot of stocks are being hit. Pretty much everybody's been hit by the Ukraine crisis. But some companies, like companies that are in international business, that do a lot of business over with some areas of Europe and such, they're going to be hurt more than other companies. Conversely, if you have actually invested in defense companies, you know, with impending thoughts of a war, that might be actually helping those stocks to actually go up in terms of value, right? Now, other things that might happen might be internal related to the company. It might be a change in management. There might be a new product release. There might be a change in there might be a new earnings release. If earnings are expected to be higher than what they were projected to be earlier, then the stock price is going to go up. If earnings are going to go down, then the stock price is probably going to go down. If there is a lawsuit, something related to a company product or an employee or harassment or something like that, that's going to probably affect the stock prices as well. So you're going to want to keep track of what happened and how it affected those stock values. So you're going to want to include a few paragraphs, probably one about each individual company here in week number 6 for your homework. So it's going to be a significant item. It's a significant homework assignment here, but I want to make sure that everybody's doing the work and not waiting until week number 11, which tends to be what happens, and people don't know what they're doing and they've missed out and they're not able to find the information they need. Right? So that's a homework, the part of week number 6 homework related to the project. And finally, now let's go over what the final project requirement is. So if I go into module, week number 11, you actually submit the project itself. All right. So week number 11, if I go into the modules, again, yours is going to look a little bit different than what you see on mine because I have some items that don't appear for you because I'm not using them this particular term. So if I look at the stock project item right here, the stock project is due May 15th. I do not review submissions before people make them. It's not fair to everybody. Some people don't choose to submit. Some people want to submit, Monday, make a couple corrections, submit on Tuesday, make a couple corrections. It's just not fair. And that basically means that I have to grade people based on only the comments that I made to them when they make their pre-submission. So I will not be reviewing pre-submission. So please don't email me anything. I'm not able to do that. Right? So what your project is basically going to cover is going to cover your portfolio, your performance through approximately the end of week number 9 or week number 10. So from sometime in week number 1 or week number 2 when you made your purchases till the end of week number 9 or week number 10. Right? So what do you have to do? You have to basically should turn in a summary of what the stocks were. Right, so it's kind of similar to that table that you did in week number 2 and week number 6 of what your individual purchases were. And I suggest that you also include ending values every single week for what your portfolio is. That will be posted on the internet as well on the course website. So you can just take that number from there and kind of show maybe like a bar chart or a table or something. It shows how your stocks did, how your portfolio did on an individual basis from week to week. Then some information about any trades that you made. If you choose not to make any trades, explain why. Maybe you were happy with the companies. They were all doing very, very well. No company that you found any reason to trade, right? Most students want to make at least one trade because they figure there's one stock that they may kind of make some kind of a mistake on. Again, you're doing 4 to 6 different stocks. If you make any trades, you're going to need to reinvest the money within a couple of days so you get that down to $1,000 or less worth of cash. Then you're going to do something very, very important as well. You're going to be comparing how your portfolio did versus the overall market and how your portfolio did versus the class, other members of the class. So if you started with $100,000 and your portfolio ends up with $110,000, then you're up 10%, which is a $10,000 increase divided by the original $100,000. Now, versus the broader market would be like consider one of the indexes, like a couple of the indexes that I mentioned, and you don't have to use these particular ones. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is index of the 30 companies as defined by the Dow Jones Company that most represent the U.S. economy, or the S&P 500, which is a broader index that includes 500 different companies, or the Wilshire 5000, which is basically includes all the publicly traded companies in the United States. So you're going to be comparing for the same period of time. So if you start your portfolio on February 26th, on March 1st, for example, if that's when you made your investment, then March 1st would be the initial date that you're comparing versus the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P 500. And then if you end your portfolio on May 5th, for example, then you're going to be doing that same information as of May 5th for the overall market as a whole. Right? How did you do versus your peers? If you're up 10% and your peers are up, most of your peers are only up 3 or 4 or 5%, then you did well. This is not about how well you did, really. You're trying to maximize your earnings and trying to do the best you can do, but that's not how you're going to be evaluated. You're being evaluated on how you apply course concepts and the economy, basically what's happening to the economy, to how your stock portfolio actually did as a whole. All right? All right. So then, again, very, very important. We talked about this in week number 6 for the homework. What were the notes that you made over the term? You're going to be basically taking what you did in week number 6 and then updating this through the end of week number 9 or week number 10, and notes that happened regarding the individual stocks and what items internally and external to the company affected stock prices, and how did those stocks react. And finally, the last item is going to be basically a summary of what you learned from doing this, how you would relate it as an investor, as a manager, as an individual, right? Charts and graphs included should be of your own doing, nothing cut and pasted. I won't be giving you any credit, and will remove credit for anything you cut and pasted. Thank you so much, and I ran out of time here.